You're listening to the Known Legacy Podcast, brought to you by Known Legacy Ministries. For more information, go to knownlegacy.org. Now here's your hosts, Bill and Travis.
My cup looks like I'm a 4-year-old. Like I can't even pour coffee anymore.
It's a dribble cup.
It's a dribble cup. Anyone those sippy tops?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
man.
Good morning, Bill. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you doing?
Good. Kyle, how you doing over in the corner?
Great, thank you.
Fantastic.
Over in the corner. No one puts Kyle in the corner.
Except Known Legacy.
Except Known Legacy. Yes.
Speaking of Known Legacy, thank you guys for checking us out. You can always find out information on knownlegacy.org, info at knownlegacy.org if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. And as always, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. If you like it, man, put a heart on it, share it, smash it,
if
whatever
you like
you
it,
need
then
to do.
you better put a heart on it. That was from Beyonce.
Way to bring it to a stop.
I know, he's totally killed it. I'll have to edit that out. Oh, hang on a second. Here's my man card. You can have that over there. So.
I was going to say leave a review, but after that little nugget, leave a review if you would like. Share it as always. That's a good way to support us. And if you're interested in Bill's book, check it out on the Known Legacy, and his audiobook is out there on Amazon as well. So exciting, good stuff, guys.
Yeah, lots of stuff. Check out, mark your calendars next April 10th through the 12th, we are having our next men's retreat. We'd love to have you there. So just put that on your calendar now. We'll have stuff out in the next month or so to be able to register and things like that. So.
I'll tell you, from the experience this past fall, some of the best worship I've ever had.
It was really good.
It was just amazing
Solid.
to have a great group of guys fill in that room, fill in that space, singing from their guts. It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
It was something about guys singing.
Yeah.
It's just like,
yeah.
And and it wasn't just all like romantic, like, I love you.
like you should have put a ring on it.
Exactly,
like,
that's it.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah, well, moving on. Great to have you here. So,
all right, so here's the question today. And I have a funny story. I'm sorry. Here's the question today.
Question of the day.
Bill, Kyle.
Yes.
Mistaken identity. And I'm talking about either you are being mistakenly identified as someone, or that awkward moment that you're like across the grocery store and you see someone who has the same build, maybe a similar haircut, and you're convinced it's the person you know. So you wave to them only to, in that moment, realize that is not the person I thought they were. So now you feel like you're obligated to either, it's just an awkward moment. You're like
waving. You're like waving. Hey! And they're like, it's not them. I got ham.
It's pumpkin spice ham.
Pumpkin spice ham.
Have you heard of it?
Have a good day. I'm an idiot.
I'm an idiot.
I've never done that in my life.
No.
Never.
No. Pretty regular, actually.
Oh, I'll start this one.
Okay.
So I remember I was at a coffee shop in Midland years ago, and all of a sudden this guy comes up and he starts talking to me, and I'm like, okay. And
you're a nice guy, so you're going to entertain the conversation, of course.
And I went to a larger church in Midland, and so you're like, okay, somebody that I knew, might have seen me, and
right.
You get those times you're
Oh yeah,
and then someone has kind of built a connection with you because they've seen you from there,
right.
and I'm like, so I'm having this conversation. Literally, it's like 4 minutes into this conversation, and we're talking about,
and he had no idea,
and I'm like, and I was almost a little too passive to be like, I don't, and all of a sudden I was kind of like, hey, I don't think I'm who you think I am, and he's like, you're Chris, right? And I'm like. No, and then it freaked me out because my brother's name is Chris, but
right.
I'm like, he's 2,000 miles away.
Right.
What is going on here? And he's like, you're not, and he said the guy's full name, and I was like, no, and that's the first time I heard the guy's name ever in my life. And then from there were probably 6 to 10 more times that I was there that I would get it. The first couple times I'm having a conversation, I'm realizing really quick, like 30 seconds, and I'm like, oh, you think I'm this guy? And then from that point on, someone would be like, hey, Chris, and I'm like, Tom, I'm going to stop you right there. You're thinking it's this guy. I'm Bill.
I'm Bill.
And it was so funny because you're like almost like at the very end, like, nope, not me.
Yeah.
Like, do I even exist anymore? And then I finally met this guy, and he's like, dude, I people mistake me for you a lot. I'm like, really? I'm like, oh. So it's just, interesting how that happens.
Have you ever had that moment where someone's talking to you and you can see physically them realize, wait, this is not the person I thought they were?
Yeah.
And so their nonverbals are screaming. They want to bail out of the conversation, but you're like, no, you're hooked. I'm all in on this.
And you like want to stay there, and you're like, and that thing with your sister, how's that rash? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just starts saying things loud. Anyways,
this is getting comfortable for both of us.
This
right
is getting
now.
better for me.
Yes,
so
yes. So Kyle, how about you?
So I don't have any stories like that, but anecdotally, I have 2 brothers that are 3 years younger than me that are twins.
Oh,
wow.
So they took full advantage of that. Literally, I think for 6 months, their names are Corey and Carrie. Carrie was dating this girl, and if he couldn't go, Corey would go.
No way.
Shut up.
No way.
Yeah,
No way.
Absolutely. So,
did the girl ever find out?
No.
Such a
Same
Disney
thing
movie.
with the tensions or things like that.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell them apart. And,
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah, that's all I can come up with, guys.
But that's okay. Like, that's enough drama. We could do a whole podcast on what happened with your brother for 6 months.
A real life parent swap. This is amazing.
Yes. Time out. Parent Trap movie.
Parent Trap. That's what it was.
What kind of terrible parents go, you know what, the best decision for our children? You take one across the pond.
Right.
And never act like they even existed.
Right.
Like, that's like a made-for-TV horror movie.
Right.
And then it's like one day they creep upon each other. Oh, I didn't want to tell you that you had a whole other family out there.
But if the Disney logo's on it, you know it's wholesome.
It's wholesome. That little stupid thing with the yes. Oh my gosh.
We don't. So anyway, so the reason why I asked this question is I had an interesting experience this past Friday night. It's football. It's here in Texas. It's getting a little bit cooler, right? So
Yep.
I'm up in the stands. The breeze is blowing. I'm on the top shelf because that's where we like to stand, and some of the dads and I, and we criticize everything and everyone. It's fantastic fun. And we are blowing this team out. And so it's third quarter, and I'm sitting down, and at this point I've already gotten a sweatshirt because it's cold, right? And it's getting chilly, I should say. It's not cold. It's getting chilly.
I like chili.
And it happens to be a red sweatshirt, and I'm sitting there, and my buddy and I are talking and just kind of making each other laugh, and all of a sudden, from like 4 or 5 rows up, this little girl, like maybe 3-4 years old, comes bounding up and stands right in front of me, right, which is odd, right, and she asked me very timidly. She asked me a question. I could not understand her for anything, and so I was like, "What was that, sweetheart?" And she asked me again. I could not understand her. PA going on. I was like, "What was that, sweetheart?" And she asked me again. So at this point, I'm like, I have to guess at what she's saying because I have no idea. And there's 2 kids sitting next to me. So I'm like, maybe she's asking me, thinking I'm the dad of the 2 kids, if she can play with the kids. So I'm like, oh, you need to ask their dad right there if they can, play with you. And she kind of walks over there. 30 seconds later, she's smack dab in front of me again, asking me questions again.
Okay.
And so my buddy, who's a jokester, I love this guy, Patrick, and he looks over at me and he goes, "I think she thinks you're Santa Claus."
Are you serious?
Swear to God, right? So I'm thinking this is hilarious. Let's see where this goes. And so I'm like, "Sweetheart, do you think I'm Santa Claus?" And she started dancing and jumping. And
my gosh.
Gave me the biggest hug, and she sat on my lap, and I'm like, hands up.
Time out.
Hands up, you know?
Yeah.
And she starts telling me about her Barbie dolls and what she wants for Christmas. And it was like literally the Santa Claus movie moment, living it out in me.
There's like a deer walking up next to you.
Right. So I look around while this is happening, and every single parent in the area that can hear what's going on is crying from laughter because this guy, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a big guy in a red sweatshirt.
But you're not like that big, just so you know.
And my beard isn't that white, but
she's like, he's preparing.
Finally, the mom catches what's going on. She brings the daughter away, and everything else. And, I stand up and declare to the universe, I get it. I'm fat. I need to lose some weight, right? And, the dads are just rolling, crying. And at that moment, I found I was compelled to start calling my wife Mrs. Claus. And she was having none of it. But the universe has spoken. Papa Noel. As Papa Noel, I now declare you Mrs. Claus. And so.
That's not Santa. That's not Santa.
You sit on the throne of lies.
Funny fact, I think in that actual movie that wasn't scripted. I'm pretty certain the guy was just walking down the street. You could look it up.
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure that Will Ferrell walked up in the movie Elf and was like, "Santa, that's not Santa." And the guy's like, "What's going on?"
He's got the headphones on.
Yes. Oh, man.
So anyways, if you see me out and about and you happen to call me Papa Noel, I'll respond now. So
open for gigs.
One of the dads tried to make me feel better. He's like, "Well, you do have a jolly personality." I was like, "That's not what I want to hear." That's like going on a blind date, and the first comment is, "She has a great personality."
She has a great personality.
I hate my life.
Well, she was punctual. Oh, man.
Have you seen what she can do with a spreadsheet? It's amazing.
It's amazing. She excels in that. Yeah, that was good. Come on, that was really good.
Yeah,
Let's
that
let's
was better.
dying that.
You know what? Had you not, I never would have picked up on that.
Wow,
I know. That's okay.
that was pretty good. I think it was pretty good.
Right away.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you.
Kyle said you got it right away. So, anyways, Bill, what are we talking about
So,
today?
you know, today we're
that's
talking
Papa
about
Noel.
it's Papa Noel.
Let us get back on the rail.
Topo Gigio. I can't wait for Christmas movies either. Sorry, we're totally off the rail now. I can't wait for Christmas movies. So, well, you know, today I was having more conversations, and man, with everything going on from election stuff to just life, that I had heard, and I think we even talked about this one time. That I was talking to someone yesterday. I was getting a haircut by someone who I know was probably like diametrically opposed to my viewpoint. But what I did love about it was we had a really good conversation that kind of kicked it off. Because even as I was sitting there, we started talking about, we didn't totally agree on our political and, you know, even some of our moral views. But it was interesting how we were able to have a good conversation, and brought up the fact that I'd never heard that thing about, you know, when you put 100 red ants and 100 black ants inside a box.
Right.
They really won't attack each other, but the minute you shake it up, they start attacking each other. And man, we're in this part in our world where it is so, like, it's so divided. It's
Right.
so, and I'm like, how do we even have a conversation? Now, I know there's a lot more to that, but what it really came down is like, how do we even, we've lost the art of conversation. How do we like do anything to get it back? How do we connect with people and really build
Well, you're
relationships?
wrong, and we should fight.
Correct. Exactly. That's exactly it. There's this thing called the loneliness paradox. And it's this idea that we are the most connected people in the world, but yet, and we have the most opportunity to connect, whether it's online, in
Right.
person. We actually have the most time with all this technology. We really do have time to where what we had to do for 40 or 50 hours a week, even 100 years ago, we can get done in maybe a day or two, quite
Right.
frankly,
Right.
with all this technology. And so, which would then seem to free us up with more time to spend time with people, but we are yet the loneliest generation, the loneliest group of people.
Yep.
And so how do we combat that? How do we fight that? And so we're just walking through kind of this idea of like where we are now. What do we do now? How do we do this? How do we help engage lonely people? How do we break this concrete that is like we just cannot connect with people anymore?
I think the conversation is a timely conversation. I think it's a very important conversation. And there's a few things that I think I'm just going to throw out there. It's kind of like the foundation to move from. First and foremost is this. There's a tension inside of me of being right and being inquisitive. And often I will approach people that I know are at a different political view or moral view or even view of faith.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I will take on the posture of like, well, my job is to prove that I'm right, which indicates that they would be wrong.
Yeah.
Instead of having an inquisitive spirit of asking questions. And I think that's one of the hidden gems of Jesus. You see, he asked questions all the time.
Yeah.
He asks questions because in the asking of the question, what he's discerning, which I think is really important posture of Jesus, is he's discerning, is this a person of peace or is this a dogmatic Pharisee or Sadducee that regardless of what happens right in front of them, they're going to live and die on their current belief structure, their current worldview. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's so important. And you see that when Jesus sent out his 12 disciples, or when he sent out the 72, he said the same exact thing. Look for people and places of peace, and when you find them, stay there.
Yeah.
Invest in that relationship. Invest
Yeah.
in that community. And I think that's really important. And the other side that he says is don't throw your pearls before swines. And so as we're talking about connecting and talking and having conversations, I do think it's really important for us from the very beginning to realize there are some that you are not called to, and it is an absolute waste of time. And they may be in your family, and they may be in your neighborhood, and they may be some of your coworkers. And that doesn't mean you ignore them. That doesn't mean that you hate them. That does not give you still have grace, mercy, and forgiveness in everything that you do. But that indicates you're not the one for that conversation.
Yeah.
The Spirit loves them.
Yes,
Jesus loves and died for them. Someone is there, but that is not you. If you're not finding peace and not comfort, but you know that if they're not willing to have a conversation, the 1 Peter 3:15 says it this way: be ready to give an answer to anyone who asks about the hope. And someone of peace is willing to have that ask
Yeah.
You know, they will
yes.
have the reciprocal inquisitive posture about understanding where we come from, what we believe, and why we believe what we believe, rather than just trying to prove us wrong all the time. And I think that's a really important foundation posture to have as we move forward in this conversation.
No, I totally agree with you. I think that's something that I love. I love that we started with, because I think there is this moment where it's not one specific people group that isn't taught. Like, I mean, that we're like trying to like connect to, but it's more of a, man, there's a lot more people in the middle right now that are just like, I don't know what where I'm at. And I have these beliefs, but now I've been sectioned off to this side, or I've been sectioned off to this side, and but I'm really not on either of them. I'm not like gonna go and march the streets for either one right now. I just want somebody. Right. And I think there's wisdom in saying they look different. When I look at the disciples of Jesus, you know, I mean, Matthew was a tax collector. He was probably wealthy. I mean, and I'm not, you know, and, you know, but then there was Simon the Zealot, who literally the idea of the Zealots were like, we're going to take over the government by force.
Right.
And then you had a fisherman, and you had
multiple fishermen.
Yes. And you had a young kid. John was a teenager. You know, so you have all these different people in different people groups. So Jesus wasn't like, I'm just going to grab this type of person. He was willing to say, let's have a conversation. Are you someone who wants to, you know, and as I looked at it.
And I think that's why it's so important. Like Jesus didn't demand, he asked, will you follow me? And that is the indicator of like, hey, are you willing to go into this conversation where it needs to go? If you're a person of peace, you'd be like, yeah, let's go. Let's have this conversation. I'm willing to learn as you are willing to learn. Right?
Yeah.
And that posture is so huge, and we've lost that.
Yeah, like, you know, even so example, Matthew was probably wealthy, had a party with his friends after, you know, he came to know Jesus, and like, how do we do? But then there was the rich young ruler who came in and was like, tell me to do it. He's like, give up everything, and he walked away. And you're right, we've got to be willing to look at people and go, maybe right now is not the time that I'm supposed to connect with them, but there's somebody else that God put me in. So I think in today's conversation, it's now that we've looking at somebody, how do we start to make this connection with them? And man, I kept thinking about what are the things that we could really do that we've overlooked, especially in the American church. And honestly, the first thing, and people they're gonna roll their eyes when they hear this, and they're gonna go, this is cliche, but I think it's praying. I think it's getting ourselves to a point to go, man, even as I was reading through some scriptures, and it was like this idea of seeking the Lord, in the idea of, man, casting our burdens on the Father and saying, hey, God, I believe you're telling me to reach out to this person. Can you open a door for me? I believe, can you soften their heart?
Right.
Preparing the soil before we go and have the conversation. And I think just being ready to go, hey, God, I'm going to call them this week. Can you open a door of opportunity with that? I think more times than not, I know, especially in ministry, we've had to confront people on things, and we bring it to prayer and go, hey, God, I don't really want to talk to him about this. Can you open an opportunity, or can you give me courage to make that step?
Right.
And he does.
Yep.
It's not easy, but there's those moments. And I think so first preparing that soil by going, how do we just pray for this person, taking the time to literally write their name down, say, I'm going to take a week and I'm going to pray for this person every day.
Yep.
So that when I want to connect with them, when I think this is the person that I should connect with, here's a practical truth. I'm bringing this to the Father because I trust him most.
Yep. Well, and Jesus even goes further. He says, not only pray for the people you want to connect with, or your friends, family, or the people that are battling cancer, or whatever it is. He goes as far as to say, you should be praying for your enemies.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And that doesn't mean that you need to organize your life around connecting with your enemies, but be praying for them. Yeah. Because their soul matters to Jesus. When he died on the cross, it was for the enemies, which all of us were until that moment of faith was given to us.
Yeah, and I think, if we ask in faith, in this idea of, God, I just want to connect with them, and I need your power to do this, and even these people aren't even the enemies. These people are people that I want to connect with, that I want to build a connection with them. But God, can you open a door of opportunity and see what God does? So that's the first thing, was really just praying.
Yeah, I would say stop right now wherever you are. Put us on pause. Make sure you come back, because the rest of this is gonna be great.
Yeah.
But make two lists. One is who's an enemy, someone that you struggle to connect with, and just pray for them.
Yeah.
Not with anything. No, just God, that you would move within their hearts and within their lives. Number 2 is make that list of, God, I feel like you're moving in this person's life, that they be a person of peace. Coordinate such a way that there might be a conversation that you could be glorified.
Yeah.
And start that list today.
Yeah.
Maybe put it on your bathroom mirror so that you can pray for it on a regular basis and you don't forget about it, which most of us are prone to do.
Absolutely. Like first thing you do in the morning or whatever, but make it a goal to put that in, because I overlook that. When I have a stressful situation, I'm like, how do I fix it? And then all of a sudden, like 8 days in, I'm looking at everything, I'm like, maybe I should pray. You know what I'm saying? So it's bringing that first and foremost that we overlooked that, but then saying, God, I want to connect this person. And then we come up with like a plan before we even bring it to the Father.
Correct.
So I think that's a big thing. The second thing was really just being real. When I look at this, I see the heart of David. I don't know why God has really put that on me, but I love that we get almost the entire lifespan of David,
right,
from the time that he's a teenager all the way up, of this character that there's not a lot of people that we get their full story and all the dirt, all the good and the bad. But David was, and I know we always talk about David danced naked in front of all that kind of stuff. There is that, but there's a deeper element of his authenticity over and over again in Psalms.
Right.
That I know that as he wrote those, I don't think he was alone when he wrote those. As he's penning this stuff. Oh, what'd you just write? I wrote that. Check it out. Whatever. And,
right.
Or even in like the cave of where I just read it this morning, where Saul was sitting there using the bathroom, and he cut a piece of his robe off. And it's like, and he worked through it, and he's like, I'm a dog. I'm not going to kill you. You're the Lord's anointed. And his buddies are like, are you kidding me? Like, he's given you into his hand.
Right.
And so the authenticity really sparked people that by that point, David went from 0 people to 600.
Right.
And something in that was like just being authentic. But I think that's courage that a lot of people are like, I don't want to expose a weakness in me. And we've come to believe that our authenticity produces weakness,
right,
or is a sign of weakness,
right. And I would say, the narrative of David in his life is a fantastic place. For me, where I go is Paul. Because Paul is this guy who, again, he has this crazy story. He was the murderer. He was the guy coordinating the murder of Stephen and other followers of Jesus Christ. He has this amazing encounter.
Yeah.
God changes his name to Paul, right?
Yep.
And then when he's writing and penning these letters, he could ignore all of that past and just be about the theology, but he doesn't. He often will, in his letters, go, hey, you know me. I'm the worst of sinners.
Yeah,
I was a zealot for the Jewish people. I was there when Stephen... And so he was able to allow God to redeem his brokenness as a moment of connection, rather than buying into the lie that people will only follow me if I pretend to be perfect.
Yeah.
And that's the lie that Satan wins too often, instead of saying, no, actually, deep connection comes through the brokenness and through the authenticity of like, hey, I'm a mess up.
Yeah,
you know it.
Yeah,
you know. I think that part of the reason why I smoke cigars.
Okay.
Because there's a Puritan movement that has been a part of our culture since the Pilgrims landed on the East Coast, and there's something about like, oh, you're a pastor and you smoke cigars? I was like, oh, yeah, you should know half of it. Like, if you knew half of what I thought about, you would think there's no way this guy's a pastor. But by the grace of God, I'm a pastor.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see kind of the defenses and the walls come down and like, oh, this is a real dude.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. And I love it because we have sectioned off certain parts. Like, okay, we can't do this, but we can eat 3,000 calories at every potluck dinner.
Right,
or we can whatever, spend...
Work 70 hours a week for 8 years in a row.
Yeah,
being alcoholic.
yeah.
Forget about the Sabbath. Who needs a Sabbath? And, remember the whole Sabbath and keep it holy. Who needs that,
And I think that's what I love, this challenge of even Paul. He's like, be imitators of me as I imitate Christ.
Correct.
It's that simple. And I think finding people that we're in lockstep, we make it so difficult. And so to connect with people, we're praying for them. We connect with them on a very authentic way and say, hey, I'm working on my journey too. I don't have it all together. We have this belief that we need to have learned more or have all the right things said. But people just want our time.
Yeah.
People just want us to be real and authentic with them and go, man, I'm a mess. I mean, it's funny. We both talk in a lot of different places, but I can guarantee that guarantee that every time that we've talked, even let's just use the men's retreats, for example, the guys weren't like, that was deep wisdom. That was like, they were more like, you're real.
Right.
You've connected with me. Yeah, and you're not perfect. And I've seen you all weekend. You're not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so there's something beautiful about that it connects so much more. But people are like, we have this false belief that we have to walk in with this perfect, like this Ned Flanders persona.
Correct.
And it's like, guys, we just need to be real.
Yeah.
And broken. I mean, even us, Kyle. I mean, speaking a little bit. Do you feel like we have connected more on our brokenness, all of us, than we have on, well, I know this and I know this and I know this. Well, it's like not like, hey, does that make sense?
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
And so I think it's the more that we connect with guys. So when you're out there, you're going, man, what's my plan? Praying for these people. Just go and be yourself. Be yourself with your flaws. That is going to connect to so many more people than anything else.
Correct.
And so walking in that. And I think just honestly, as I look at it, like, man, the authenticity of Jesus connected hopeless people to him. It wasn't like he had it, you know, like people weren't just there because he was God, obviously, but he was authentic and he was real. Even to the point as he's sitting there in the Garden of Gethsemane, he was so authentic that it was like, hey guys, I'm scared and I need you to pray with me. I need you to be real with me. There was moments of his weakness,
right,
and that caused these men to want to. That was one of the reasons why it caused these men to want to be with him.
Yep,
is spending those times. So being real, and then finally, just don't give up. Like if you know God called you to something, if you've prayed about it, you've prepared that. God, this is what you've done. You've opened a door, God. It's not like he's going to go, whoop, I'm going to shut that now. You're done. It's like, okay, we're going to walk down this road. I'm seeking your wisdom. I'm being real and authentic, and start the conversation with these guys, because I will tell you, there are so many people that are lonely. There are some people that are waiting for you to step out. And I think that's the boldness that we want in you guys today, to practically go, the way that we cause this divide to not be so divided is that we would have these conversations, because we have definitely lost the art of the conversation.
right.
And being real, being authentic, and sharing that really helps others understand that.
And ask questions.
Yeah.
Like, get to know them.
Yeah.
Be more concerned about them and their story than you sharing your own story.
Yeah.
And don't be a one-upper. Can I just say this right now?
Yeah.
Don't be a one-upper. And yeah, you might have a better story. You might have just don't be a one-upper. Let their story be their story.
I think it's Colossians. It says, let your words be seasoned with salt, in the idea of like, man, if you're the one that's like, whoa, I got this other thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, just listen. And then, man, share that hope with them.
Right.
And we, you know, even this idea of, I want to share another thing. Let's get on soapbox for a minute. I want to share the gospel with my friends. And a lot of times we're like, if I bring them to church,
right, the pastor, the
pastor's going to do it. And it's like, really, it's like, no, has this hope changed you? Share that hope. It's that simple. But we've made it so big, like, well, I don't have all the right things to say. I'm like, how about you just share what changed you? Is it Jesus? If it's not, then we need to have another conversation. And, you know, like, let's talk about the gospel, how that's changed you. But examine your own life. Like, where is the hope change? Where have I been changed?
Yep.
I mean, did I decide to move forward and make a better decision in my life by getting better with whatever? Like, hey, I need to, you know, I do want to spend more time understanding who I am as a child of God. That doesn't mean I'm learning every single Greek word, but I'm saying I'm going to start spending time in the Word because it's valuable. And then sharing that with your friend. That's what they need.
And I would say a great place to practice this is in your family.
Yeah.
Like, these are the postures you need to have with your wife. Be inquisitive about her dreams, her desires, her hurts, and let her talk.
Yeah.
You know, be authentic with your own shortcomings and your failures. One of the strongest things that dads can do is when they go to a kid and they're like, I overreacted there and I'm really sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Asking for forgiveness, acknowledging when you're wrong, acknowledging when things are out of, like, you know, you all have those crisis moments where you as a dad are trying to desperately figure things out and you don't know what to do, but, you know, just to be honest and say, I don't know what we're supposed to do, but I know we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, and to practice that at home, and then it becomes second nature for you out in the wild.
Yeah. So be discerning, be prayerful, be real.
Yep.
And then don't give up. And that's really it.
Give up. Is that Kate? I don't know who that was. I'm sorry. That was horrible.
That was really good, though.
That was horrible.
That's the new song.
I feel like we've gone full circle, and you ruined it at the beginning with the song, and I
ruined it at the end. That's okay. And that's the Known Legacy Papa Noel.
Oh, Bill.
I want a new bicycle. Guys, thanks for checking us out today. I hope this was a blessing to you. If it is, share it with a friend. Connect with us, knownlegacy.org. We'd love to hear from you. info@knownlegacy.org, how God is doing something great in your life.
Yes.
And even if you have seen this impact your life and have shared with somebody else and said, no, I see this step out, we want to hear from you and celebrate with you. Travis, final thoughts?
God bless you guys. Have a great week.
Have a great week.
Thanks for listening to the Known Legacy Podcast. We'd love to hear from you. So email us your questions or comments to info@knownlegacy.org.